What's up mga repa? I had forgotten how many days we've been in lockdown. I want to talk about something na is very hot with the masses right now, with the writing public and the masses right now, and that is the Doble Plaka law. Alright, so tonight I won't be talking to you while buying petchay or just running out for supplies. Actually, I haven't been on my bike for I think a couple of weeks now. Republic Act 11235, which is more popularly known nowadays as the Doble Plaka law. So ano ba itong Doble Plaka law na to? Yung Doble Plaka law would require 2 license plates on a motorcycle. You know, one in the front, one in the back. Currently, we only have 1 plate in the back. Now, this was authored by Senator Richard Dick Gordon. Surprisingly, this was first authored July 23rd of 2018. So it's like a couple of years, in the making. Yung motivation ni Mr. Gordon with regard to the Doble Plaka law is this incident. There was this time na there was a journalist who was, shot by men or criminals on a motorcycle. Yun yung riding in tandem na alam natin. So nowadays, when you say riding in tandem, it's not really the act of riding in tandem, like with a pillion in the back, and then you're just happily cruising by. No, when you say riding in tandem, you mean to say, armed criminals and, acts of whatever, violence, criminal acts perpetrated on a motorcycle. So yun na siya, yun na yung riding in tandem na alam natin ngayon. Now, fairly recently as well, this was brought up again, yung Doble Plaka law, because before Kim Chiu became famous for bawal lumabas ng classroom, she also became frontline news story item because she was a victim of a shooting, again, perpetrated by criminals on a motorcycle. Right? So, from the looks of things, yung Doble Plaka law is being put into place as a deterrent to crime. Now, what exactly is yung Doble Plaka law, and why are a lot of people in umbrage about it? Okay, so I'm gonna look into this right now. A lot of the stuff that I'm gonna say here would be what I'd read about it, which you can actually find a copy of the law itself on the Philippine Gazette. So, if you're gonna look something up, might as well make it look legit, right? So, doon ka na sa source talaga, sa Philippine Gazette ka. I'm gonna put a link in the description so you can go directly to the PDF file where, yung contents ng Doble Plaka law is enshrined. In any event, first wave of uproar against the Doble Plaka law, March of last year or something, and a lot of people were questioning the absurdity of putting 2 license plates on a motorcycle when traditionally it had always had 1. The absurdity portion of it, ang thing about that was people thought it was ridiculous to have like really huge plates on a motorcycle. Now, I forget ano yung size niya talaga, but those were really big plates, like almost car-sized plates, if not bigger. It was put aside, the matter was put aside, of course. And then, just recently, yun nga, nangyari kay Kim Chiu. And then, nabuhay ulit yung Doble Plaka thing. But now, the Doble Plaka law had come much more closer to fruition at that point because dininig na siya sa Senado and it had already been passed. An IRR was already released back in May 11 this year. Alright, so that's like just maybe 2 weeks ago. And then it was released in the middle of a pandemic. Fortunately though, under the new provisions of the IRR, the front plate is now smaller. Okay? It's actually, I'm gonna read off dun sa cheat sheet ko, okay? The front decal thing, it's no longer a plate, it's more of a decal, but how exactly it's gonna adhere to the front of the bike or where it's gonna be placed, parang hindi pa sigurado. But definitely the size is about 85 millimeters tall and about 135 millimeters wide. Think the size of an average smartphone nowadays. Parang ganon siya. In the back, you're gonna get a bigger license plate that measures 135 millimeters tall by 235 millimeters wide. That's a lot bigger than yung current plates natin ngayon. For comparison, I think it's about the size of a tablet or an iPad or something. So you can kind of just imagine how big the plates are. Now, supposedly all of this is to aid in easily reading off yung plates ng motorcycle, both from the front and the back. And then, a lot of the rules naman on the IRR is actually sa totoo lang already in place in common Philippine motoring law. Like the provision of yung plate lights that we need to have illuminated plate lights in the back. I mean, Jesus Christ, yes, of course. Right? Unless you're one of those guys na walang pakialam sa ganyan. Pero kung wala kang plate light, wala kang pakialam sa ganyan, then yeah, definitely gonna be in trouble. What a lot of people are really angry about these days is, one, it was implemented in the middle of a pandemic. And two, the law is actually, according to the IRR released, is effective immediately. As soon as it was published in the Gazette, it was effective immediately. So, people were taken by surprise. I mean, people thought na they could not comply. They had no time to comply. We are in the middle of a pandemic. Government offices are, all but closed. So there's no way for you to comply, for you not to get caught. And, people are really scared right now kasi we're looking at very stiff penalties. We're talking about penalties of 50 to 100,000. And then we're also looking at, required prison time even. Wala siyang prescribed prison time, various offenses. I think it's gonna be left to the courts for a decision. Now, you have either stiff fines or jail time, or both. Wow! More chances of winning ka talaga. Ako since a lot of the rules in place there potentially affect many motorcycle riders, okay? And by extension, motor vehicle owners everywhere. Kasi one of the things that's being discussed in the IRR was the fact that you would have to make sure that your motorcycle is registered under your name. As soon as a motorcycle is sold, the law stipulates, the IRR stipulates that within 5 days, it has to be registered with the LTO. Or the LTO has to be made known that such a sale had occurred or a change of ownership had happened. Eto kasi yan, mga repa. Marami sa atin ang nagagalit, okay? Kasi marami sa atin na, and this is especially true of people who bought or have second-hand motorcycles. I mean, kahit ako I own a second-hand motorcycle. It's all I can afford. That's why I went the second-hand route. This is not a matter of, being able to buy brand new or second-hand. Pero kasi, ang dami sa ating mga Pilipino na we're just going around with a deed of sale. It is a very common and prevalent practice na hindi nire-rehistro under the current owner's name yung mga sasakyan. Especially if it's second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, diba? Na change of ownership. Why is this? One would be yung hassle ng pagpalit ng ownership. Why do we think so? Ang hassle kasi magpalit ng ownership For anybody who undergone the process, I have, and I have a vlog about it. Hassle siya, in all honesty. Diba? Hassle talaga siya. Which is why a lot of people don't go around doing it kasi ayaw nila ma-hassle. So they just have, yung transfer papers, yung deed of sale nila. And what's worse is that a lot of these guys, they have an open deed of sale. Why do people do this? Kasi with an open deed of sale, you can kind of skip yung hierarchy of when the bike was sold or when the motor vehicle was sold. So effectively, even if I was the fifth owner, if I have an open deed of sale dating back from the first owner, if I would sign that, I would just technically be and legally be the second owner. Which is why it's very popular Plus, ito yung mindset natin na pagka naka-aksidente tayo, hindi tayo hahabulin. Kasi ang hahabulin ng LTO would be the person whose name appears on the ORCR. And if we keep registering the vehicle, which is pwede naman talaga technically, diba? Under somebody else's name, like say the previous owner's name, then we're scotch-free. Scotch-free tayo. We would be out and completely free of any liability should anything happen with that motor vehicle while it's in operation. And actually, a lot of people have discouraged me from having to do so when it came time for me to register the bike. Backstory lang ng konti. Yung bike ko kasi, supposedly, March siya mag-expire yung registration. But, I checked out yung papers niya and I saw that it was actually registered January of 2019, which meant that for the interval years between 2015 and 2019, hindi nakarehistro yung motor ko. Which is why it appeared na January 2019 kasi doon lang nirehistro ulit. So what I did, para lang malinaw na, malinis na, was I made I made a decision to register the bike, transfer the ownership. That was back in January. Para wala nang problema, di ba? Kasi if you ask me, hindi kompleto yung cycle of ownership if that bike is not under my name. Which I think is a very important thing na sana tayo, you guys who are watching this vlog, kung hindi nakarehistro yung mga motor or sasakyan niyo sa pangalan ninyo and you kind of intend to keep them, I would suggest you register them na lang. Hindi kompleto yung ownership mo eh. I mean, how do you even say that you own that motor vehicle if your name doesn't appear on the registration? I mean, you have an open deed of sale. You have a deed of sale that was, signed between you and the other party, but it's not notarized most likely. So how can you even claim ownership to it? Right? Yun yung tingin ko nagbibigay ng hesitation sa tao to abide by the Doble Plaka rule or law by Senator Dick Gordon. The other thing is yung apparent safety issues with having a front plate sticking out the front of your bike. On a car, this is just purely my opinion on it, okay? On a car, your plate sits flush with your bumper cover, okay? So, in the event of a collision, any damage that would occur would mostly be due to the impact with the bumper and not with the plate. But on a motorcycle, if you're gonna put a plate that's kind of sticking out somewhere, chances are you might add to the injury. Let's say, hindi naman talaga like yung mga motor, diba? We lane split. You lane split. I lane split, diba? We gutter game. Freaking rule of the land, man. You don't get anywhere in this country on a motorcycle if you don't gutter game. Ang isang safety issue na nakikita ko dyan is that in the event na may masabitan ka sa harapan, you might risk injuring the person by having a plate sticking out in the front. Ito yung medyo point of contention because some people believe na it's not gonna happen. Some people believe na it's gonna cause people to just, get sliced up and diced up on the road. Truthfully speaking, I kind of lean towards the second part, only because if it sticks out far enough, alright? But if it doesn't stick out far enough naman, damage would of course be yung force of the bike hitting onto that person. I would leave it to people and their opinions on the matter. Safety, probably, yeah, so-so. Yung third thing ko dyan is that how exactly is the Doble Plaka going to deter crime? Let's put it this way, if I was a criminal, I wouldn't use my own motorbike to commit a crime. Or even if I would either A, fake my license plates, B, just freaking cover them up, or C, just run without them. Kasi let's face it, a motorcycle is really great. It's really nice as a platform to do that kind of thing kasi ang dali niya makatakas. Which is why para sa akin, one of the things that we can do to help maybe alleviate the situation is, through public vigilance. Let's be more vigilant towards things. Like kapag merong nangyaring incidents again, let's go ahead and proactively report it kaagad. License plates would definitely help, diba, in doing that, yung reporting matter. Two, instead of going through the lens of enacting a law and producing license plates, which by the way, a lot of my friends have bikes that are like 5 years old, wala pa ring plaka. So ang hirap kasi the law says that you have to have your new plate number issued to you and then a new plate issued to you. But then again, how long will that take? Many of my friends have bikes that are like 5, 6 years old. Wala pa rin plaka. Yung kotse ko, I had it registered for new license plates, I think back in 2014. Pare, hanggang ngayon wala pa. It's like 6 years already. Ang hirap It's kind of hard because now we have so much in the way of fines and penalties and jail time. But we don't have so much as something to give to the people which is yung plaka nila. Nor do we have an avenue for the majority of us to comply kasi sarado yung LTO. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody wants to be outside right now. I mean, right now, yung the thing about all of this is that since it's already signed into law, it's just a matter of time before it actually is imposed on everybody. Now, I just came across, or rather a friend pointed out to me on social media earlier that the bill was temporarily suspended. Okay? Which is a good thing kasi we definitely need time to comply, right? But then, I think yung suspension is a good avenue for people to, come together and, really think about this. How is the Doble Plaka gonna help us? I mean, sige, we have a manner of identifying motorcycles, okay? But without speedy and timely response from the authorities, wala din. I mean, seriously, what use is a license plate which you don't even know is legit or not if the authorities would not be able to respond to such reports quick enough? I'm under the impression that a lot of people are not deterred from committing bad acts. They're not afraid of the punishment. They're not afraid of the punishment per se. Paano nga naman tayo paparusahan kung di tayo mahuhuli? We should really ramp it up the manner of enforcing the law, the manner of being able to respond to such incidents para magkaroon ng reach yung punishment, because right now you've got punishment armed to the teeth but you don't have an arm to reach out and grab that evildoer to put your teeth into. Ang sa akin lang okay, the Doble Plaka law could probably work, could probably help us, although I should say that it looks Jesus Christ horrible, man. Like, jeez, it's horrible, pare. Cars flash yung license plates and cars are really designed to take license plates in the front. A lot of bikes, no. I mean, even yung mga bikes that are made in countries where front license plates are a thing, they're not really designed to take license plates. They're always designed to take something para mailagay yung license plate. But they're not exactly designed to have license plates, in the first place. And to me, Jesus, man, that is just aesthetically horrible. Even when, it does become implemented, like everybody has to follow it na talaga, we have no choice, okay? I want to keep riding my motorcycle. I say a lot of these things, but at the end of the day, I would have to comply kasi it's the law of the land. And I think that my love for my motorcycle and my love for riding would certainly trump yung hassles, alright, of having to follow the Doble Plaka law. And a lot of us would probably share the same sentiments. You need to ride to work. You need to ride for a living. You need your motorcycle to transport you. And it kind of all boils down to the fact, the LTO says this, always says this, that driving and having a license is a privilege. Having a motor vehicle is a privilege, alright? So this is not an infringement of rights, okay? This is more of something for regulation. This is for regulatory purposes. That's all it is. Now, it looks ugly as fuck, and I don't, I will never contend that it's not. In light of all of these happening, hassle man, because of the deeds of a few, the majority of us would have to suffer or would have to comply. A lot of these things, if you think about it, hindi siya hassle. If your papers are in order, your bike's papers are in order, you have nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I live in Mandaluyong City. This is checkpoint country, man. Pero since yung bike ko, clean papers, under my name, everything is updated. I always bring copies of the required paperwork wherever I go. My license is, of course, updated. So, wala akong problema. I can easily identify myself to the authorities. Wala akong takot. Simply because I follow what's right or what's stated by the law. We have to get our heads out of the sand na we are being infringed upon. No. Dude, if you think you are being infringed upon just so you can keep using yung open deed of sale mo para sa motor mo, man, you're crazy, man. You're a special kind of crazy. Pero I kind of understand where you're coming from. It's definitely not logical, but I kind of understand kasi hassle nga siya and not everybody would have the time and the resources to get their paperwork in order. But I think it's high time that we start learning how to be responsible if we're going to keep the privilege of riding or driving on our street. Front license plates are ugly as fuck, pero it's something that is needed to regulate. Nasa sa atin yan if you want to comply or not. ako, I want to keep riding, man. I mean, you know, it's my main mode of transportation to work. Kasi, ang traffic, pare. Diba? It's very convenient to me. I love it. Diba? So, yung mga minor issues sa ganyan, kind of making my bike look a little bit uglier because of the front plate, I'm gonna have to follow it because it's what is required. Yun lang ang masasabi ko sa mga repa, no? Let's not get too emotional about this. Ako, definitely, I have, you know, my emotions running high on this, pero I'm trying to keep yung level-headedness, the open-mindedness right there. Kasi we have to look at logic eh. We have to be logical about this. I mean, this is law we're talking about. We're not talking about your emotions, okay? The law does not give a shit about our emotions. Let's use yung time that the suspension had brought us by first ensuring yung paperworks natin are in order. And then when the time comes that, you know, the plates are here and kakabit na natin siya, then you have to make a decision. Are you gonna keep, you know, ranting about how ugly it looks? Or are you going to stop riding just because you don't agree with how it looks? Diba? We may agree to disagree on all things. Okay? I leave it to the lawmakers to fine-tune yung batas na yan. Diba? I leave it to the civil society groups to be at discussion with our lawmakers about it. Okay? I think there's enough voices already about this issue. Ako na lang is I want to focus on being able to comply. Okay? So, yun ang masasabi ko sa inyo mga repa. Let's be on the lookout for this. Make sure that your paperworks are in order para hindi kayo takot. Yun yung agam-agam natin eh. Okay? Apart from it looking really ugly. I think I've mentioned that so many times already. We should, you know, really get our heads out of the sand on this. And I also hope that the authorities would think it over really well. Lalo ngayon, in this time of a pandemic, a motorcycle is a perfect form of transportation. Kasi social distancing galore, pre. Wala kang backride. Bawal ang backride yun eh. Diba? So, social distancing kagad yun. I mean, man, the next guy is like, you know, so many meters ahead of you. I mean, that's social distancing, man. Perfect siya. It gets you around. It doesn't get stopped by traffic unless you maybe blow its tires. Diba? So, chill lang tayo mga repa. The law is suspended for the time being. Pero let's use that as an avenue para maasikaso yung paperworks natin. Okay? In compliance with the law. Alright? Regardless kung ito man yung susundin mo or the ones before it. Because seriously bro, if you look at the motoring regulations and laws ng LTO, ang tagal na ng mga stipulations na yan. The only new thing about all of this is how stiff the penalties are and the ugly as fuck license plates in the front. So I'm gonna leave you with that, okay, pare? Take some time to read through the RA 11235 para sa kalinawan ng pag-iisip nating lahat. And it's still, you know, we're still going on with the pandemic. So, tuloy lagi sinasabi sa mga repa, ride safe, sige lang na sige, keep yourselves healthy out there. Maintain social distancing. Jesus Christ, please. We haven't flattened the curve, man. I'm not sure if we're going up or it plateaued or what. And I'll see you again on the next episode, which hopefully would feature me riding on a motorcycle again. I'm just not sure when. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.